Okay, is the freshman 15 real? About the freshman 15.
We untouchable, uncrushable. We untouchable,
Jackie,
uncrushable.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Dapper Diane. My name is Dorothy. If this is your first time here, go ahead and like for me, subscribe for me, comment if you want to that early, but oh yeah, turn on your post notifications. So today we are going to get into some college questions. I asked my little sister to ask her peers what they would want to know about college, because obviously all of my peers are already out of college, if not in it, or yeah, so they don't really need this information. So we're gonna get into that today. Oh, and by the way, I'm outside because it's a beautiful day, y'all. Like I think, what was it, yesterday morning, it was mad cold, it was mad gloomy, so I just wanted to be outside. Let me put on my glasses so I don't go blind when I go back inside. But all right, the first question was, do people run in the halls and slam doors in the dorms? I feel like someone's inner parent asked this, but I would say, I mean, like, not really. Well, like in the dorm that I was in, mind you, like, I'm gonna be giving my answers based off of my experience at UNC. So yeah, like the dorm that I was set up in, like my first year, it was like set up in suites. So there were 4 rooms to 1 suite. Each room had 2 people, so 8 people shared 1 bathroom. When you went outside of the suite, you were like outside on a balcony type setup. So, I mean, one thing that I noticed about college campuses, doors are heavy as heck. I don't know why they build doors to be mad heavy. But yeah, it's not really a matter of people running in the halls or slamming doors. And even if there were people doing that, I mean, it's a quick passing by noise. I would say the most thing that you would have to worry about is people playing music. Like sometimes you could hear the suite next to you playing music mad loud or whatever. But each dorm has quiet hours, so past a certain point, the RA might come through and just be like, hey, you gotta turn that down. Okay. So the next question was, do you constantly have to research throughout your college career? Now, I think it really depends. It depends on your major, and it depends on what courses you take individually. So overall, if you're a STEM major, anything with the sciences, anything with math, anything like that, you are going to be doing research pretty often, because that's literally what those classes are like, and that's literally what the major is. So if you're a chem major, a bio major, anything like that, that's going to pretty much involve research all of the time. But the good thing with college is that, of course, you can pick your major. So if you start off as one major and you find that you don't like it, I mean, you can switch at any point. So there's that part. And specifically speaking for STEM majors, you could also do as much research as you like, because while your classes may have research requirements, during the summer, of course, you can sign up for fellowships. You can sign up to work on some research project with your professor, and that's just a matter of like connecting with your professor, building a personal relationship with them, and just inquiring like, hey, are you working on anything? Because oftentimes STEM professors are doing research of their own, and they I think they typically kind of have a setup with the university where if they teach, the university can help fund their research. So yeah, it's really dependent on what your major is. And then when I said that it can also depend on your class, I know that there was this one class that I took, and it was about African American history. And although, like, obviously that as a general sense, that doesn't sound like a course that would be heavy on research, a big portion of the class, or like literally the entire point of the class was to research history in Warren County like Black history in Warren County. So yeah, I think I liked research more in that sense. To me, I like research if it concerns people and not more so numbers. So yeah, it just depends on what you want to do. I know that was like a long-winded answer, but it's really up in the air. Okay, is the freshman 15 real? About the freshman 15. So if you don't know what the freshman 15 is, it's like this legend or story, whatever you want to call it, that when you go to college as a freshman, or a first year as you should say, you gain 15 pounds, if not more, because like you're no longer at home, you no longer, sorry, car was passing by, you're no longer at home, and you no longer have fresh home cooked meals, all that stuff. So would I say it's real? It can be. It can be. Once again, it's something that is really up in the air, really context dependent, really depends on the individual. In my case, I went to school and yeah, I lost weight. Like I went into college like 135, something like that. And then after a little bit, I lost weight. And the way that I lost weight was because my dorm is here, and then the dining hall is over here. And the dorm that I was in my first year, there was like one kitchen for the entire floor, and I was on the 5th floor. And I think my building had like 10 floors, but overall, that's one kitchen for at least 50, 60 something people, and so for me, I lost weight because one, I'm walking all over campus, and I made a point. I don't like exercising, y'all. Like freshman 15 didn't happen for me because it wasn't because I was in the gym. It's because I don't like exercising. But instead of going to the gym, I would walk all over campus to make sure that I knew my way around campus, because on a buses can't go everywhere that you can go walking. So there's that. But yeah, it was a whole bunch of walking across campus, and since food wasn't readily available to me, there you go. It was easy for me to lose weight in that sense, even though it wasn't intentional. But now I think I gained like 40 pounds throughout college. So for me, and like part of that was intentional. So honestly, be patient with your body, be loving towards your body, because you're going, like at this point in college, you're growing up. Like you're literally growing up mentally, physically. Your body's changing. So love your body every step of the way. If you gain some weight, that's okay. Like there's nothing wrong with gaining weight. There's nothing wrong with losing weight, as long as it's done in a healthy way that's not detrimental to your well-being as a whole. Okay, so is the work given in college hard? Not all the time. Not all the time. I would say your professors can really make a difference in that. I feel like every college student, especially now in the middle of Rona, has at least one professor that is making stuff really hard. And I feel like that's something that you can see throughout all stages of schooling. Like if your teacher has some weird obsession with making the material hard to grasp or not making it accessible, then it's going to be hard. But you're also going to have those professors that are going to change your life, that are going to make you love a subject that you didn't even know that you could care about. And they like really want to see you succeed. They'll work with you. So I think it's really dependent on the professor. But overall, I would say no, it's not hard. Just as you've learned in the first grade to progress to the second and third, fourth, and on and on. Of course, the material that you get is more complex, but the professors can really make a difference in that. And just as you have before, you'll progress and evolve to know how to handle the complexity of the work, because that's what you're in school for. You're learning, so yeah, I would say it depends on the professor. What's the hardest thing about college? I would say that for me, the hardest thing was, it wasn't the schoolwork. Well, sometimes it was the schoolwork, but I would say starting out, leaving home was the hardest. I remember I came from a small town, and as you know, small towns don't have a lot of opportunities, and I don't think people, as a small town person, I can look back and say I don't think people realize how much a small town impacts a small mentality. So in Chapel Hill, like, it's really a college town, but coming from a small town, it's still an upgrade. It's still a different environment. So yeah, for me, I was just like, oh my God, like, this is mad scary. I'm not gonna be around my parents. I'm not gonna be around my sisters. I'm not gonna have like, and I was the only person that came from my school. So I was like, bro, I feel like I have nobody, like, dog. And I literally cried. Like, it's funny to think about, because as time went on, like, I loved staying up at school. Of course, I made friends. I found my community, found my people. But yeah, I would say it's an adjustment, because college is no longer just about school. Like, it's school plus life, and you have to figure that out. So it's a very uncomfortable time at the beginning, but in due time you'll flourish. You'll find who you are. Hopefully you'll come out of college better than when you went in. So yeah, time management. I think well, it wasn't a question per se, but it was just overall about time management. I would say, to be honest, time management is kind of, it's something that you have to learn, and I learned that it's also something that is also going to change. Time management doesn't always look the same, because each semester you have, you know, a different set of courses. And like I said, you're also balancing life. There's things that are going to pop up in your life that wasn't there a month ago. There's, you know, so I would say it's more so a matter of figuring out what works for you and your individual schedule, because as you'll learn once you get into college, no one is really on the same schedule. Like, there's people that are balancing classes that say they start at 8 a.m. or some people don't finish class until 7 p.m. and then you have to factor in work. So it's going to take a minute to build a schedule. It's going to take a minute to get adapted to that schedule, and sometimes once you get adapted to that schedule, it's time for it to switch up again. So yeah, I would say just find out what works for you. Be selfish but intentional with your time. And I don't mean selfish in a negative sense, but like, worry about you first, okay? And then yeah, once you start to get into a groove, hopefully things, you know, will fall into place. And then in the case that they don't, that's where you have to adapt and figure out how to manage your time differently now that your circumstances have changed. So yeah, that's all the questions that I have, that I was given. So if there's anything else you want to know, you can just comment it down below. I want to be as real with my answers so that people can have like a good understanding of what they're going into when it comes to college. So if you want to submit stuff anonymously, you can do that as well. I'll leave my Instagram so you can just DM the questions or anything like that. But of course, if you feel comfortable, comment below. And that's everything, folks. I will see y'all in the next video. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe.
Bring it back now.